Hillary Clinton and the White House blame Republicans for Nancy Pelosi's husband's attack. And we have Twitter in a frenzy ever since Elon Musk acquired the social media company. All of that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. And as always, I couldn't be happier than to kick this week off right, doing The Bald Brad Show and hanging out with all of you, my friends and true American patriots, where we come together as a community of conservatives and Republicans, go over the stories of the day, and bring you all the news and information you need to know about. So if you want to join us here at The Bald Brad Show and you haven't done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're over at Rumble, hit the plus and give us a comment down below. And if you're listening on any of the podcast airwaves, Apple, Google, Spotify, heck folks, you can find us and listen to us anywhere and everywhere. Leave us a lovely 5-star review. Not only would you be helping a conservative, but most importantly, you'd be supporting getting conservative thought and ideas out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel. So help and support would be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button, but also double check folks to make sure you have that bell notification icon clicked so you're notified whenever we upload or go live, which is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Supernatural Saturdays, and a sprinkling of politics on Sunday. Be notified by hitting that bell icon. And again, folks, with all the censorship that's taking place right now with Steven Crowder, Savannah Hernandez here at the Bald Brad Show, and many other conservatives and Republicans, it's now more important than ever that you hit that like and subscribe button, as well as leave us a comment down below, because they're coming for all of us, folks. They're trying to shellac us here on the social media platforms so we can't get our voices out right before the midterm elections. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. With that being said, it's Halloween, folks. Happy Halloween. And hell, there is nothing more scary than bringing up Hillary Clinton here in the news. But that is our lead story of the day, is Hillary Clinton and the White House basically blaming Republicans for what happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband, folks. This one it's a head spinner, it's a mind bender, but we're going to try to break it down for you all here today. The story of the alleged home invader who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, gets more and more complex as time progresses. New information has surfaced surrounding the identity of the alleged attacker. He supposedly is a 42-year-old man named David DePepe. He is an illegal alien from British Columbia, Canada, who resides in Berkeley, which you all know is a leftist area. DePepe has a criminal record in the San Francisco area, but of course, he has not been deported due to the sanctuary city status of the area. Just lovely. The initial story was that DePepe broke in through a back window and assaulted Paul Pelosi. That story seems less and less credible as more information comes to light. This whole thing is seriously just, like I said, it's like a web of weird stuff coming out about this guy. The left is saying that he's Republican and conservative, like a far right. The right is saying that, no, he's a leftist and that the story is fictitious in some way, shape, or form. Again, we're going to try to break it down here on the Bald Brad Show, but here is Fox News talking about the same thing we just spoke of.
A homeless nudist. He was living in a storage locker, and he was an illegal alien from Canada with a rap sheet in San Francisco, we believe, so he should have been deported, but San Francisco is a sanctuary city.
Sounds like a far-right extremist to me, right, folks? Folks, I'm telling you, I don't think this guy, from what I've seen so far, my mind is open to change. I don't think this guy is a far-right extremist, and I want to show you why. So, this is where supposedly he was living, okay? Now, I can't zoom in on this, but for those that are listening, hanging from a tree out front of this house, or maybe in the backyard, I imagine this is more so the backyard, is a pride flag with a giant marijuana plant leaf as where the stars would be on the American flag. And then where you would have the stripes, there's a bunch of marijuana leaves as well. And then the pride flag, just the colors. If this was somebody far-right extremist, probably not going to have that hanging in their backyard or from a tree. Now, could it be possible? Sure. But also up in the window up there says Black Lives Matter. That is not a far extremist right ideology, like whatsoever. Mind you, I'm a conservative Republican. I'm not far right. I tend to see both those in combinations not being a far right ideology, but rather a progressive left, far left ideology. But they're going to continue to blame Republicans for this whole thing. It's truly astonishing. We have here from Fox News saying the man accused of breaking into the house of Nancy Pelosi California home and assaulting her husband brought zip ties to encounter Paul Pelosi. David Pepe, 42, was found inside Pelosi's home struggling with Paul Pelosi over a hammer at 2 a.m. on Friday. He reportedly called out for Nancy when first entering the home and then attempted to tie up Paul using a bag of zip ties he brought. An unnamed source was briefed on this whole incident and told Axios. Pepe, a conspiracy theorist who frequently posted online, and this is where things try to tie in this guy to being a far-right extremist. Well, he posted online and has been mentally ill for a long time. Tubb, ex-life partner of this individual, Pepe, told ABC7 that Pepe has a daughter with them of a previous relationship, and she herself is a jailed nudist activist convicted on a child abduction charge. Like I said, you guys, this is a web of stuff that's just been released. But it's not going to stop people from pushing a far-right extremist and tying it to January 6th, which we'll get to in a moment. Quote, he is mentally ill. Yeah, no shit. He went into somebody's house and put him on zip ties. Yeah, obviously the guy's mentally ill. He has been mentally ill for a long time, she told the outlet. This is who we were just speaking of, Tubb, the nudist activist. Adding that she had split with him roughly 7 years ago. She went on to detail one incident when Pepe reportedly came home after disappearing for almost a year out of the blue. He came back in very bad shape. He thought he was Jesus. He was constantly paranoid, thinking people were after him, and it took a good year or two to get back to, being halfway normal. So clearly this guy was insane, or at least according to this lady, being allegedly insane. Paul was rushed to the hospital for surgery for a fractured skull after the incident. Police say he was struck at least once with the hammer, but he's expected to make a full recovery. And thank God, again, we hound the Democrat Party, we hound the progressive left, we hound Nancy Pelosi, Biden, all that. They're still human beings, and I don't want any ill will to happen to them. I'm glad that he's making a full recovery. That is a terrible thing that happened to this man, and a terrible thing that happened to Nancy Pelosi's husband, as well as her. She's the one that has to deal with this whole debacle as well, probably fearful of her life, and that's not a good thing. And that's why I think it's important for Republicans and conservatives to state the obvious. We don't want this to happen. We didn't want this to happen. This is not a conservative or Republican thinking ideology that we support in any manner. And that's why it bugs me so much when they try to attack conservatives and lump them in, as well as Republicans, to January 6th, that this is an ideology, this is something that all conservatives, Republicans hold, and that they wanted this to happen, and yada, yada, yada. Couldn't be furthest from the truth. I don't know a single Republican, and this is anecdotal, but even a conservative out there that does a podcast or a show going, yeah, January 6th, what a great idea, man. That holds to my values. That was a good idea. Everybody's like, no, those guys are idiots. They deserve what's getting to them. They destroyed property. They should be held accountable for their actions. It's not a good thing. But somehow, even though I do a video on it a few days ago, you get all these idiot progressive leftists coming and going, oh, you're an idiot, Brad. You're an idiot. You support the actions of January 6th without watching the entire video because they're a bunch of knuckleheads. And they watched 30 seconds of it, me going, MSNBC gets destroyed by Trump supporters because they're asking questions and basically showing the hypocrisy of what the reporter's talking about and what's been pushed by the progressive left. So rather than watching the whole thing and seeing my true thoughts on it, they'd rather just jump to a narrative, oh, he's a Nazi, oh, he believes in January 6th and all this other crazy crap. Well, months before, for Pepe, police accused him of attacking House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband on Friday. David Pepe had been drifting further into the world of far-right conspiracies. This is what they're doing. This is by the Los Angeles Times, by the way. Also anti-Semitism and hate, according to the Times review of his online accounts. In a personal blog that Pepe maintained, posts include such topics as manipulation of history, hollow hoax, which I'm assuming is saying the Holocaust is a hoax, and it's okay to be white. He mentioned 4chan, a favorite message board of the far right. He posted videos about conspiracies, including COVID-19 vaccines and the war in Ukraine being a ploy for Jewish people to buy land. I haven't looked into any of this. I've never even been on 4chan, so I don't know what the heck's going on there. But clearly the guy seems to be suffering from some sort of mental illness based on everything that we've read so far and also side research I've done. Pepe screeds into posts about QAnon, an unfounded theory that former President Trump is at war with a cabal of Satan, worshipping elites who run a child sex ring and control the world. An August 23rd entry titled Q, DePepe wrote, either Q is Trump himself or Q is the deep state moles within Trump's inner circle. So clearly this guy is really into conspiracy theorists. There's something going on. Doesn't mean he's a far-right extremist. He's literally registered for the Green Party, you guys. So I think that's important because they keep pushing this whole extremist, right-winger, probably be lumped in with January 6th. That comes from Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House. And they're doing this because they need to keep utilizing January 6th and that right-wingers, conservatives, Republicans are a threat to democracy. They're a threat to our elections. Vote blue because of look what they're doing. This guy is registered Green Party. You can go look that up. Meaning that is not right-wing at all. That's actually left. That is progressive left. But somehow, because this guy's on 4chan, he's into conspiracy theories, all of a sudden he's far right. With a Black Lives Matter poster in the window, with a freaking pride flag hanging in the backyard. Yeah, no, this guy's definitely extremist. I don't know what this guy is, nor do I care. What he did was wrong. I'm bringing up the political aspect of it because that is what they are pushing. We should all be going, regardless of political party, the guy did something idiotic, and thank God Nancy Pelosi's husband is okay. And then he's going to make a full recovery, and the guy that did it, DePepe, should get everything that's coming to him according to what is in the books of the law. But somehow we have to twist this into right and left and all this other stuff. Again, the reason why I'm bringing this up, making it right versus left, is because one side is saying it's right and the other side saying it's a left. And I'm coming in middle ground going, I don't know. I just know he's registered Green Party and it seems like he's going further left. But at the end of the day, again, I don't care what the guy is. He did something stupid. DePepe's daughter told the Times that her father wrote the blog. She said that she and her mother were reeling from the news that DePepe had been arrested in connection with the attack of Paul Pelosi. I'm a little shocked, she said, but not really that shocked in all honesty. Authorities have not revealed a motive for the attack at the Pelosi home, but let's jump to a motive, you guys. Let's pull what Democrats, progressive left, Hillary Clinton, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House, let's push it. Let's push it all on a motive that none of us have. I don't know what the guy was thinking. Sounds like he was batshit crazy. And again, I know I'm repeating myself, did something stupid, but somehow we're going to push, he's a right extremist because he's on QAnon and reading all these blogs and writing all this crazy stuff, doing Satan worshiping, which, by the way, is not part of a conservative or right-wing thing. We follow the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on for the most part. That doesn't mean you can't be on outside of that, right? But most follow at least those values, those creeds. Now, as I mentioned, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton jumped on the bandwagon on Saturday, joining a number of liberal pundits and elected Democrats who blamed the Republican Party for an alleged violent attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband. Clinton echoed the sentiments, if not the words, of people like President Joe Biden and MSNBC anchor Andrea Mitchell, who suggested that the rhetoric and politically charged anger that had spanned the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill had spread to Pelosi's San Francisco home. Really? Really? We're going to do this? Where we're going to try and attach some idiotic thing of January 6th all the way to San Francisco of somebody attacking her husband with zero evidence? But midterms are coming up, you guys. As I mentioned, for those who are avid listeners of the Bob Brad Show, have I not said since the beginning, when Karine Jean-Pierre started switching the whole narrative of going, well, it's Republicans' fault. This is Republicans' fault. That's Republicans' fault. Going, everything and anything is going to be Republicans' fault going into the midterms here because that's all they got is January 6th, which is why you got the hearings, which is why you got Hillary Clinton back in the news, which is why you got Barack Obama and everybody else blaming the Republicans, going, oh, like a January 6th, they're a threat to democracy, they're extremists, and all these other things. Quote, the Republican Party and its mouthpieces now regularly spread hate and deranged conspiracy theories, Clinton tweeted. Says the lady that blamed everybody and anything for her losing the election. Mm-hmm. And I mean, just within itself, her blaming the Republican Party and being mouthpieces for deranged conspiracy theories is literally spreading a conspiracy theory by blaming Republicans with zero evidence of motive that have come out from this guy. Let that one sink in. I mean, the fact that you could say that in one sentence when we don't know the motive of this guy has not come out at all yet, that she's going to sit there and say that Republican Party's spreading conspiracy theories, all the while she's spreading conspiracy theories by blaming the Republican Party for this guy's actions. She went on to say, it's shocking, but not surprising. That violence is the result. As citizens, we must hold them accountable for their words and the actions that follow. Wow. hold them accountable for their actions and words. That's so rich coming from the progressive left. And talk about violence. You mean the $1.5 to $2 billion that the progressive left, Antifa, the Democrat Party, and Black Lives Matter did for the matter of years under the Trump administration by burning our cities to the ground? Is that the violence in action you're talking about? Or is it the violent actions of the increase in murder and homicide rates in black cities, but are going to blame it, like Whoopi Goldberg did on The View, on red states? That manipulation of data. I don't know, though, but we're all conspiracy theorists, you guys. Everything that's happening is not happening. Very similar when you have the MSNBC reporter standing outside. It's all peaceful protest here, mostly peaceful, while there's buildings burning in the background. It's fine. Nothing to go here. Just everything's peaceful, as the people are throwing rocks at his face and everything like that. Buildings on fire. A bunch of people masked up. It's just unbelievable. It's really unbelievable, you guys. Clinton shared an article from the Los Angeles Times that identified alleged attacker David DePepe, which I just talked about, who had been arrested and charged with attempted homicide, among other charges, as someone who spread QAnon, other far-right bigoted conspiracy theories. But we're not going to talk about all the other stuff of him being in the Green Party, of the Black Lives Matter poster, of him being freaking insane for a while, or allegedly insane. You know, the fact that he has marijuana, pride flag in his backyard, all these other things. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to hone in on a little bit of stuff that he wrote. SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk fired back in a since-deleted tweet with an alternative theory, sharing an article from the Santa Monica Observer that made a series of claims, not the least outrageous of which being that Pelosi had brought DePepe home with him from a local gay bar. I have no idea if that's true. I'm not even going to sit there and talk about that one, because who the hell knows? There's a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye, Musk tweeted. The report published by the Observer appears to be false, however, which may be what ultimately led to Musk deleting the tweet. Washington Post reporter tweeted, quote, incorrect and already retracted reporting by a Fox affiliate in SF and a fake story in the Santa Monica Observer have powered viral misinformation about the Paul Pelosi attack, amplified by a ton of people with huge platforms, including the chief twit, which is talking about Elon Musk. That's his new title now, chief twit, ever since he's taken over Twitter. MSNBC producer Kyle Griffin added, the outlet Elon Musk cited to spread dangerous lies has a history of making conspiratorial, false, and hoax-filled claims, including that Hillary Clinton died during the 2016 campaign and was replaced by a lookalike. Now, there has been pictures of Hillary Clinton's double out there, and from my understanding, I'm not saying she was replaced, but it was from my understanding that there has been times where her double has showed up to events, and it wasn't in fact Hillary Clinton, but rather her double. Now, it looked like she was going to die during 2016. I mean, she literally passed out a few times, or allegedly passed out. I mean, there was all sorts of stuff going on with her, coughing all the time. She seems to have health problems. I mean, there's been a constant theme here of the Democrat Party nominating people that clearly have some seriously health issues. Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden, the mega one. Look at that guy. A lot of people still think Joe Biden is dead, by the way, just the way that he walks and talks and rambles, being chauffeured out on a gurney. I'm being facetious. Obviously, Joe Biden's not dead. Don't come at me, leftists. I know that you've been swarming on my channel a little bit, especially the one with the MSNBC destroys a reporter over the January 6th events. You really love that one. If you guys haven't seen that episode, go over. If you want to have some fun in the comments, go over to that episode, because there's a lot of them in there commenting and just being outraged over me saying that the January 6th events was a bunch of crap from a bunch of idiots who stormed the Capitol, and that they did $1.5 million in damages compared to the $2 billion that Black Lives Matter and the Antifa did during the Trump administration, meaning it was a freaking drop in the bucket compared to the damage that they did over the course of many cities in America, and they got all livid about it. Oh, he's all for January 6th, even though I said I wasn't. Bunch of idiots. Go check it out. You guys will have fun. Human Events senior editor Jack Posibek, and I'm mispronouncing his name, I apologize, shared a message he said came up from Carp, likely the person behind the long-banned Twitter account, who argued whether or not the story Musk tweeted was true wasn't really the issue. Instead, he said that was important, that there was an alternative viewpoint, whether it was accurate or not, was allowed to exist on the platform at all. Basically saying before, you would just been removed, you would have been banned instantly, rather than looking at a different viewpoint and analyzing and allow the reader to come to a determination whether something was false or something was true, or having their own opinion about it. That was the main focus of, we're allowing free speech to thrive once again on a platform that was supposed to be all about free speech, but no longer is about free speech. But Hillary Clinton can go on there and blame Republicans for all this stuff and could be completely fine on Twitter before and be fine now. But then when you're on the conservative side or the Republican side of the aisle, If you say anything that might remotely be tiny bit false, you get banned or censored, or you literally say something that's true and you get banned or censored. I mean, look at Jordan B. Peterson for what he said. I mean, there's been times where he was removed because he said a biological male was in fact a male. You had the editor-in-chief of the Babylon Bee do the exact same thing. Or was that the editor-in-chief of the Federalist, but the Babylon Bee was also doing the exact same thing he was, as well as Charlie Kirk, all were suspended for saying that literally a biological male was in fact a male and got suspended on Twitter for it. Now, speaking of Twitter, let's roll into our second story of the day. We got Elon Musk responding to LeBron James over criticism about offensive content on Twitter. Twitter, ever since Elon Musk has bought this thing, has just been on a frenzy. And we'll get to the story right after this one regarding all the celebrities flocking and leaving Twitter. They're deleting their accounts all over it. You're going to love this one, folks. If you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, please do so. New Twitter CEO Elon Musk responded Sunday to criticisms from the Los Angeles Lakers' LeBron James about racial slurs on the platform by noting that the content was part of the trolling campaign and had been deemed inauthentic. I don't like racism. I don't like racial slurs. I just want to be evident about that. I feel like I have to say that every single time because the leftists can't wrap their head that that's already built into the cake for conservatives and Republicans. We don't like racist. We don't like Nazis. We don't like that stuff, okay? We can only be so damn clear, but these leftists in their mind just go, I don't believe what you're saying. It's like a bunch of idiots, man. They are idiots. I'm sorry. Democrats, they're sane sometimes. Progressive left, idiots, radicals, extremists, knuckleheads, whatever you want to call them. They need to get it through their thick heads. We don't like racial slurs. They need to get it through their thick heads. We don't like Nazis. They need to get it through their thick heads that we hold morals and traditional values, but they can't. They can't just wrap their head around it. They think that we're just lying for some reason. James was responding to a report in the Washington Post that claimed there had been 500% increase in the use of the N-word on Twitter following Musk's takeover. Several posts on 4chan encourage users to amplify derogatory slurs, the report said, suggesting that the increase in those use of slurs may not have been completely organic, which the post did not mention. Of course they didn't mention. They have a narrative to push, you guys. The right is extremists. The right are a threat to democracy. They're a threat to the country. God, who said that? Oh, is Joe Biden, the president of the United States, attacking an entire political party? Granted, Trump did it too. But the thing that they're doing by attacking the political party of the right is that it's a bunch of nonsense. And the media is going to sit there and rub their shoulders over and withhold certain information from all of you. The study of the Washington Post relied upon bad actors who were trying to test the limits on Twitter, even though no content moderation changes have been made. I want you to see this. So this is kind of the image and what LeBron James was looking at here. So evidence suggests that bad actors are trying to test the limits here. And this shows you the increase. If anybody watched the Sunday episode yesterday, I talked about when there's a vertical increase in data. This comes from auditing as a public accountant, whether you're doing people's taxes or you're just looking at data. You have to look at it and go, man, that is a weird anomaly. That doesn't mean something fraudulent happened. It doesn't mean there was an error. It could have just happened just by happenstance. But the likelihood of that happening and probability is very low. So we look at that and go, God, that should be investigated. That's weird. You don't come to all these crazy ass assumptions and start pushing a narrative that may or may not be false. You go, God, let's look at this. Let's find the evidence. And then once we have the evidence, after investigating it, what do? Then we could talk about it. So you have this here. There is a spike. When you see spikes or a dramatic decline, you investigate and you kind of figure out what the hell's going on. But did LeBron James do that? No. Of course he didn't. He's a basketball player. He should stick to that. No, he just sat there and pushed a narrative out there for everybody to read. So they're going to look at that and be like, oh man, God, it looks like there's a bunch of racists on Twitter now ever since Elon Musk hopped on Twitter. Quote, I don't know Elon Musk, and to be honest, I don't care and could care less who owns Twitter, James tweeted. But I will say that if this is true, I hope he and his people take this very seriously because this is scary as F. So many damn unfit people saying hate speech is free speech. Hate speech is free speech, you idiot. I hate to call you an idiot, but God, what a stupid statement. It is free speech. And part of that is saying things that you don't like and could find hateful. Doesn't mean I like it, man. Again, yesterday's episode, today's episode, if you're a Nazi, you have the right to say Nazi things. I don't like it. I'm going to bash the crap out of you on my episode because I don't like it or on my show. If you say racial slurs, I don't like it. It's hateful. It's derogatory. It's wrong. I will bash them on my show, but they have a right to say it. But this is what the progressive left do. We talked about in Sunday's episode regarding censorship. They're coming after all of us. Regardless of what we say, it's misinformation. Oh, it's disinformation. It's Russian disinformation. It's this, it's that. I support free speech, but at the same time, I don't support that thing. They treat it like a freaking buffet, folks. That's good. That's yummy. Ooh, that's icky. I'm not into that. Ooh, that's wrong. That's what they do. They treat it as a freaking buffet where they like some speech. They don't like other speech. They believe in free speech. Everybody has a right to say whatever they want. But at the other end, when something goes against the very thing that they don't like, it goes against their narrative, then it should be censored. That's how they deal with it. Meaning they aren't for free speech then. They say they are, but they are not. Musk responded to James's tweet with a statement from Roth. Twitter's head of safety and integrity said nearly all of these accounts are inauthentic, meaning they're basically bots accounts. They're a bunch of freaking nothing. Okay. Let's talk about this for a minute about the slurs, hateful conduct, and trolling campaigns. Bottom line up front, Twitter's policies haven't changed. Hateful conduct has no place here, and we're taking steps to put a stop to an organized effort to make people think we have. Our rules prohibit hateful conduct, the statement concluded. This includes targeting people with dehumanizing content and slurs. This doesn't mean we have a list of words that are always banned. Context matters. For example, our policies are written to protect reclaimed speech. Quote, over the last 48 hours, we have seen a small number of accounts post a ton of tweets that include slurs and other derogatory terms. This is what's called investigation, folks. To give you a sense of scale, more than 50,000 tweets reportedly using a particular slur came from 300 accounts. You have a small group of people that are just pushing out a massive amount of tweets that are wrong, that people don't agree with, but it's not like it's happening everywhere. So you look at LeBron James's tweet, makes it seem like, oh, this is a massive thing. Look at all these. There's a 500% spike. God, look at all these people streaming the Twitter now from 4chan, these progressive leftist sites, posting all these racial slurs. What a bunch of racists. Doesn't that just go with the January 6th events of how these people are racist and they're again a threat to democracy and that they attack Nancy Pelosi's husband? Look at all these people, right? All these people are posting all these things. It's all intertwined and all connected. At least they're making it seem so. Nearly all these accounts, again, are inauthentic. We've taken action to ban the users involved in this trolling campaign and are going to continue working to address these in the days to come to make Twitter safe and welcoming for everyone. Now, there's a little bit of an issue going on with that because Elon Musk is keeping like the diversity. They're keeping certain committees, if that's what you want to call them, in place that was previously from the other Twitter. And I call it the other Twitter now because Elon Musk basically fired everybody. That a lot of people are worried that he's not going to allow as much free speech as we expected, meaning that when somebody says something hateful, again, I'm not for that. I don't like it. I know I'm repeating myself, but they have a right to say it. If you don't like it, don't read it. Don't click on it. Ignore it. That's what I do. There's a lot of people that write asinine things to me all the time. I said I literally almost read every single tweet when I can. I sit there and swipe. I read them all. Leftist, rights, the subscribers, which I love so much. Thank you. We got a freaking awesome community. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. I read all of them. Even if I don't click the like button and the heart and comment, I read all of them. There are some people that say asinine things in the comment section. Do I delete it? No. Does it hurt my feelings? Not really, because they're knuckleheads. I don't know who the hell they are. It could be a bot account for all I know. But they have a right to say it, which is why I don't delete it. They have a right to push their viewpoint. But the difference is the progressive left doesn't believe that. The progressive left believes if you say something that's wrong and it goes against their narrative, it's misinformation. If it goes against the election, it's disinformation. If it really goes against the election, then it's Russian disinformation. All these other things, that's what they're going to push. And that's the stuff they're going to do. But out of all of this, because of Elon Musk, because of the platform that he's taken over and the platform that these elitists have sat there in stronghold for so long, Hollywood hits the delete button, folks. They're getting out ever since Elon Musk's takeover Twitter. So basically, it's sending celebrities to different social media platforms. Sarah Bareilles revealed she was leaving Twitter amid Hollywood backlash following Elon Musk's takeover of the social media platform. Oh, geez. Bye, Sarah. Honest to God, I barely know who she is, so let's find out here. Well, it's been a fun Twitter. I'm out, the Grammy Award-winning artist wrote Sunday morning. See you on other platforms, peeps. Sorry, this one's just not for me. Bareilles joined a chorus of celebrities, leaving Twitter following the SpaceX billionaire finally acquiring the site and becoming CEO after finalizing a $44 billion takeover. God, you got a guy that sits there and wants to allow free speech, the ones that, should be promoting free speech since y'all do movies and singing and, giving your free speech out to everybody else. But all of a sudden, when you got somebody who wants to allow that, no, it's not for me. Ooh, this is a little bit crazy, a little bit dicey. I'm out. Bareilles, known for her 2007 debut hit Love Song and writing Broadway's adaptation of Waitress, joined a few power players leaving the site. The Tesla CEO finally closed the acquisition at $54.20 a share. You got Shonda Rhimes, The creator and writer of Grey's Anatomy and its spin-off Private Practice tweeted, not hanging around for whatever Elon has planned by. This is where they all run. they all flock to the shadows. This is Us director and director Ken Olin tweeted, "Hey y'all, I'm out of here. No judgment. Let's keep the faith. Let's protect our democracy." How does that make sense? If you want a guy to allow free speech, which is, a big thing for America and our Constitution, hell, and our Bill of Rights, right? Number one there. Number one's protected by number two, folks. That's why we have it down in the logo there, right? That's why the eagle is facing the mic, because it's free speech at the time. When free speech is gone, okay, when we don't have the right to free speech anymore, guess where that head turns? Yeah, it turns to the Second Amendment, because the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. When you got the Second Amendment in place, that First Amendment's always going to be there, folks. That's why we did that. That's why I created that bald Brad. It's a beautiful logo, is it not? Does that logo not deserve a like and subscribe, folks? Okay, the microphone. He does a podcast. He does a show, The Microphone. And it's protected by the handgun, the Glock 19. Phenomenal weapon. Phenomenal. I miss Trump. The reason why I'm doing Trump impression, because the man's still not back on Twitter. He's going to stay on Truth Social, by the way. So they're all flocking to other social media platforms. I just find it rich that he says, let's protect democracy. All the while, Elon Musk wants to promote free speech, which is only a thing that you would see predominantly in a democracy. But, let's protect democracy. Let's try to be kinder. Let's try to save the planet. Let's try to be more generous. Let's look to find peace in the world. I agree with all of that, by the way. I want to keep the faith, too. I love protecting democracy. Hell, we're an outlier in terms of history. I want to be kinder, absolutely. Let's try to save the planet, sure, involved in that as well. Let's try to be more generous, love that, 100% love that as Judeo-Christian values, and let's look to find peace in the world. We'd love to find peace, but you're not going to find peace when you have the progressive left sitting there blaming Republicans for Nancy Pelosi's husband's attack when the guy's a registered Green Party guy. Unbelievable. So you got them fleeing. You got Rob Reiner encourage people to stay on the platform and continue tweeting as a number of elections loom. For those who are fighting to preserve our constitutional democracy, now it's not the time to leave Twitter, he wrote. Now it's time to vote blue. Really? You guys. Let that sink in. I don't know where Rob Reiner lives, but I mean, if you look at California, massive homeless population, the highest homeless population literally in all the United States. We have over a quarter of the homeless population. Feces just littered all over the streets. You have homeless encampments where literally they're building walls now. They're basically building houses on platforms in the streets of Los Angeles, spilling over into the street. You have a massive illegal immigration problem here. I mean, it's literally problem after problem. The worst roads in the United States. Public transportation sucks. You got a governor who doesn't know what the hell he's doing, that masks everybody up, sits there and hounds businesses for wanting to stay open and feed their families, gives out gas cards, or at least checks to help curb inflation. Let that one sink in. I mean, the highest gas prices in the nation as well. You got the oil companies fleeing from the state because it's tough to do business here. And then the governor can't fathom, well, why are they leaving? I don't know. Maybe it's because your party as well as yourself want to put them out of business. We used to have 50 oil refineries here. Now we got like 16 or 15. They're all going down for maintenance because they can't keep up with the demand of the people wanting to buy it, which is going to increase surging prices. But none of that makes sense to him. But no, vote blue, you guys. Everything's going fine. You got massive inflation going up. Your CPI's gone up. The gases are going up. Your grocery bills are going up. Your amendments, at least your rights, are slowly being dwindled of them wanting to slowly chisel away at your Second Amendment rights, slowly chisel away at your First Amendment rights, meaning freedom of speech, was what the hell we're talking about here. But no, vote blue totally makes sense. Everything's going fine in blue states and blue localities. She-Hulk star. Oh, God. Don't even get me going on She-Hulk. I love Marvel, and I'm a Disney fanatic, okay? I love Disney. I hate what Disney's doing. I hate what Marvel's doing. Don't even get me going on She-Hulk. Just awful, awful show. Well, she left Twitter in April when Elon began discussing the takeover, only to return again in July after he reportedly pulled out of the deal. I'm back! Oh, not anymore. Others begged from us to take a look at who he was allowing back on the site after Kanye, previously known as, Kanye West, I guess he goes by Ye, was reinstated on Twitter following controversial statements made on the site. I've said it time and time again. I am not on Kanye West bandwagon. I listened to him in high school. It seemed like after his mother passed away, he kind of went downhill, struggling with a lot of things. Clearly, I'm just not one of those conservatives that hop on Elon Musk. I said Kanye West. I said in my episode that, look, this guy is going through something. I don't like that he says something conservative, and all of a sudden, let's all hop on the Kanye West bandwagon. Just because somebody says something conservative does not mean they're conservative. Just because they say something that was kind of like a Republican does not mean the Republican we should just hop on the bandwagon and follow that. Like, oh, look at that celebrity. Look at, they like us. They're going along with us finally. No. Get a vet. Just because somebody says something that you like doesn't mean that you should go fully blown with them. Yes, account was restored by Twitter before the acquisition. They did not consult with or inform me, Musk said in a tweet after a user tweeted to him. So why did you restore already Kanye West's account? Twitter should not be a platform to spew racism and anti-Semitism. Nobody likes racism. Nobody likes anti-Semitism. But if you're going to be a freedom of speech platform, you have to allow freedom of speech. And then what we can do is all look at those idiotic statements and do what? We could talk about it on our show and say, that was idiotic. I don't like that. That's not a conservative value. That's not a Republican value. So why don't we stop considering him to be a Republican and conservative when he's not carrying on those traditional values of being a conservative and Republican by posting whatever it's racism or anti-Semitism or whatever the idiotic thing may be. We don't like that. We could talk about it, right? And people could watch it and come up with their own decision of like, man, yeah, it probably was a stupid thing to say. Or they could say, oh, I'm all for on board with it, which would be a very knucklehead thing to do. But there you have it. Celebrities are leaving Twitter. You got Nancy Pelosi. You got the White House. You got Hillary Clinton blaming Republicans for the January 6th events on top of the fact of construing it with Nancy Pelosi's husband being beaten in the head with a hammer. Thank God he's going to make a full recovery. You also have just a litany of things going on with Twitter right now and Elon Musk. You got people going after him. You got people upset that he's going to allow free speech. You got LeBron James kind of construing the idea of 500% people saying racial slurs. It turns out they're all bot accounts. 300 accounts are spreading 50,000 tweets. All this stuff, folks. I hope you enjoyed this more long form kind of idea of this podcast here. It is Halloween. We did 2 segments. I wanted to make it worth your while, folks. I hope you enjoy the show here, and I hope you enjoy just Supernatural Saturdays and the sprinkling of politics that we do on Sunday. Go check yesterday's episode out. And thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below. We are being censored, so all your engagement does help the YouTube algorithm. And folks, I'll see you tomorrow here on The Paul Brad Show.